And welcome along, guys, to another episode of 420 News. Hope everybody is good out there, guys. It is Monday, start of a new week. Hopefully I see all of the regular audience members show up and everybody got through the weekend safely. You're probably wondering why I look a little bit bigger on the screen there at the moment. I just changed up a little bit there today. Apologies again for the slightly delayed start, but yeah, just testing out new improvements there to the show. You'll see as we get along. Sorry, don't want to spoil too much. You'll see when we get there. But until we get there, guys, we're going to get a little bit of civil disobedience underway as we do here on the 420 News. Let's pack up a bowl. Martin with your big head. There's just so much knowledge packed in there, John. Like, just, you need a cranium of this size in order to withhold it all, Otherwise, like, it'd be just leaking out again, like. So, us big heads, like, come on, like, big head, big brain. It's like what to say about big feet, big socks. Well, there's out there, see Keith Griffin as well in the audience. What's happening, Keith? What up, Martin and everyone? Sean Duggan as well. What's going on, Sean? Hello, Martin and everyone as well. Sean is saying. And Johnny F, 420 on a Monday. Can only mean it's time for the interweb's best show. Nice. What show is that, John? I must miss it all the time because I'm on here doing my show. Damn. Looking at me watch, I see hair past the freckle. Kieran C is out there as well. Happy 420. Hope all is stoned on this fine Monday. It is actually a beautiful Monday out there. See nothing but blue sky out my window at the moment. Long may that continue. It's always great to wake up on a Monday morning to some sunshine. It's not worse than Monday mornings and rain and wind. It's just like not how you want to start a Monday. Steve Jones, loved the Tommy interview. Nice one, Steve Jones. Yeah, it seems like that interview with Tommy Chong, and check it out if you haven't already done so already, guys. It's up there online now since Saturday. Everybody who's watched it so far has it really enjoyed it. Some people have even went to say that it was probably one of the better interviews that Tommy Chong got to give in a while, and that and this is going from one commenter. He said that I let him talk. I listened to the guy, and I wasn't just trying to ram a load of questions at him, try to get as much out of him as I could in a short period of time. I listened to the guy, just had a conversation with him, and I really enjoyed it, and it seems like a lot of you out there have as well. So yeah, that's Tommy Chong, guys, episode 35 of the podcast up in line now. Tommy even went and called out the Irish government to legalise the herb here. Yes, go on, Tommy. Martin Condon, it's a show some Cork fella does, well worth a watch. You should check it out. Definitely will, John. I might take a break next week for my own, just to check that guys out. Send me a link. Papa Gummy Bear, well done on the Chong interview. Nice one, Papa Gummy Bear. Glad you enjoyed it. And Kieran C says, watched the interview with Tommy Chong and remember when I mentioned that most jazz players in jail for cannabis in 60s and 70s. Yeah, that was right, including even the great famous Louis Armstrong. I believe, if memory serves correct, Louis Armstrong spent a little time behind bars for his love of the muggles. Muggles, which you might know if you're a Harry Potter fan as being the people without magic. But in the jazz world, it's the people with some magic sticks. It's interesting, actually. Yeah, muggles, you know what I mean? That's an old muggle here, like, and that says the old jazz saying for it. I think there was a song as well by the same name, if memory serves correct. It's been a while now since I went down that history road. Done a good old report on it there back in my herbal science course. I should probably just like do that report here as an episode actually one of the days. It's about maybe 20 minutes long, but it's a fun one. A trip through the history in cannabis with Martin. Yeah, definitely. We'll release that sometime in the not too distant future. Martin Horgan says, Fats Walla sang about weeds in the 30s. Can't say I know of Fats Walla, but with a name like that, it's definitely a jazz musician anyway. And Mustawa is welcome. And Kieran C says, go on up and close your girlfriend's door and take a little Hufflepuff. Right, we'll blaze on up. Civil disobedience, guys, if you haven't already done so already. We're a little bit past 4:20, but I'm sure it's always time for a little protest. Righty, so guys, let's get cracking with today's 420 news. We've a couple of headlines lined up for you today. Again, unfortunately, we don't have a whole lot of positive stuff there from Ireland. Again, I hope that changes in the not too distant future. Fingers crossed. Next week on the 20th, there's going to be that talk by the Transition Greens, and hopefully there might be something productive come out of that. Hopefully some fucking light at the end of the tunnel there for us. But at the moment in Ireland, it seems like, we're stuck in this era of prohibition at the moment, and even the guys in power are fighting to keep us in that era of prohibition. And that's the first headline today. And this is the first headline, yes, and this is what I was tying around with there earlier, the new little intros there and that. But Stephen Donnelly apparently is challenging the EU ruling on CBD products. And this has come to light after Paul Murphy questioned him. That's TD Paul Murphy. He questioned Stephen Donnelly in the Dáil on if he was aware of that ruling. The fact that Ireland are operating outside of kind of EU rules, if you will. And not only was he aware of it, but he was actually a representative in an ongoing court battle, I suppose. I'm not too sure of the kind of the technicalities around that. But basically, Stephen Donnelly says that the matter raised are sub judice, currently the subject of a legal challenge in which the Minister for Health is a respondent and can therefore offer no further comment. And that was in relation to the question put to him there by TD Paul Murphy. And when the HSE were questioned on this, they weren't able to give any, like the department and Minister Donnelly also have refused to disclose the reasons behind the state's position. So again, there is no reason given as to why the state is trying to step in here. And obviously, look, I know myself the reason why, and it's kind of obvious. If they're to lose this battle, effectively cannabis is legalised in Ireland. If you're able to go into a shop and legally purchase CBD flowers, then the job of a guard is going to be next or near impossible, because if I'm going down the road and I've got my grinder and I've got my bud grinded up in there, like, unless the guard has got some sort of device there to test it, and test it specifically, like to make sure that it is one of these illegal varieties of cannabis, then if the guards can't do anything, like they're not going to be carrying these devices around. In fairness, like, this is the Irish Gardaí as well, we have to remember. Excuse me. So it'll be interesting to see what happens there on that one. So Stephen Donnelly challenging the EU ruling on the CBD products. Nasty old move out of him, in fairness, like, given Stephen Donnelly's position there only 4 years ago when he was an independent politician. But before he solely sold there to the is it the Fine Gael party, I believe Stephen Donnelly's a member of, but they're all the same anyway, Fine Gael, Fianna Fáil, so it's all the same cut and the same cloth. So yeah, when he was an independent, he basically was kind of saying, why should the state, I'm paraphrasing here, but why should the state get involved if a person wants to grow a plant in their own home that affects nobody else? And in fact, why should the state be denying people access to it if it's a medicine? And here he is now as the Minister for Health, actively going against his past position. Mustawa is there correcting me, yeah, Fianna Fáil. But as I say, one of the same now. It's hard to tell them apart anymore, to be fair. The only two I know who are on the different teams is Leo and Martin, but like that's about it then. Like, all of the rest of them, they all just get intermeshed in between. They're all the same. Can't trust them. That's pretty much it. Like, and they're not looking out for the interests of the people, because if they were looking out for the interests of the people, When they got the power to do right, they would have done right. Donnelly knew himself what was needed to be done 4 years ago. How could he have got changed? What has changed? Like, if the only thing I can see that has changed is his allegiance. His allegiance is now to the party and not to the people. And that's what we have to remember about these people, and that's kind of what I say about like Fianna Fáil, Fine Gael being all the same. Their allegiance is to their party, and the people come like way down the list. You have the party, the donors to the party, and all of the people who support the party, all of their buddies then within the party, and then the people. Messed up really, like. So yeah, we'll drive on from there, and we go down to Cork. We're in Cork over the last Thursday, actually. Thursday evening down in Cork, there was €80,000 worth of cannabis seized in Macroom. And interesting enough here, it says 80,000 worth of cannabis in the headline, but when you read into the articles, then they're talking about 4.5 kilos of cannabis. 4.5 kilos of cannabis would be €90,000 going by their €20 a gram valuation. So it seems like there's some confusion done there, maybe an error there in the press release in some form. I'm not too sure. Maybe somebody forgot to fix the figures after they took the extra half a kilo, They were like, "Graham, we'll take 500 grams there, boys. Put down it was only 4 kilos now, right? Yeah, no bother." Completely forgets then to actually put down, take away the half a kilo that they took for themselves. So this is below Macroom, where €80,000 worth of cannabis, apparently 4.5 kilos, was seized. A man in his 50s was arrested at the scene, and he was taken to Bandon Guard Station, where he was held under Section 2 of the Criminal Drug Trafficking Act of 1996. I can actually remember that one now without needing to look at it. I've read it so many bloody times. So again, another waste of time. Macroom, small village down there. You think about this cannabis. If the people down there that were going to be buying this and consuming this, imagine if they were able to go down to a local venue, such like they can for an enjoyment of their favourite beverage, whether that be Heineken, Beamish, whatever it might be. Imagine if they could go down to a place like that and enjoy their cannabis, socialised, have entertainers hired there to go down and perform, do some live music, maybe some comedy gigs or something along those lines. Maybe you even have some restaurants that open up and start catering for that community, giving some cannabis-themed dishes. Think about it, like the jobs, the stimulation for the economy. Macroom would be fucking, a hell of a place to visit if they had a nice thing. Imagine nice craft cannabis there from Macroom. They've got some nice mozzarella, ox mozzarella. I've tasted some nice stuff out of Macroom anyway. Like, and not just Macroom, all of Ireland has the potential for this. Really, it's just really annoying. You're seeing headlines like this. All of this cannabis now is going to be sent to the Forensic Science Ireland for analysis, where they're basically going to confirm it's cannabis. Maybe in a year's time we'll find out that it contains some dangerous chemical that's going to be harmful if you smoke it. But sure, in a year's time, what good is that information to you? So we drive on from Macroom, and we return to a case, guys, that I touched off of the other day. And this is a case that was coming out of Sligo, where a man who smelled like cannabis was stopped and searched by the gardaí. And the update in this case, I was hoping to talk to the individual involved in this today, but unfortunately they were experiencing a bit of anxiety, because that's why they actually were caught with cannabis. They used cannabis to treat PTSD related to abuse they experienced as a child. And this is a post up there by Gus Gorman Jr. And this was put up on one of the a group page, and it was sent to me by private message. But this Gus here actually talked to the individual in question here, and this is what he had to say. He said, "Man was stopped because he smelled like cannabis, but apparently man was cycling when he was stopped by Garda. So for what reason was he stopped? Man also said Garda pulled up alongside him while he was cycling. Garda in an unmarked Land Rover. Got off the bike to the Garda. Got off the bike. Garda got out of the vehicle and asked if he had anything he shouldn't have. The man replied yes, and chatted with the person myself. He was saying that he chatted with the person himself. He said the cannabis in this situation was worth €90, but the guard argued that it was worth 120. Look, we all know why that is. €20 a gram. The guard can't really do anything outside of that. Excuse me. The man in question here then accepted a €250. He's calling it a fine here, but it was actually a donation to the charity that he got, and he got off on with no conviction. But then he puts down here that the wrong name was put in the summons, the wrong name was put in the fine, and the judge couldn't even get the man's name correct. So, like, if that was the case, if he had a good solicitor there, a good solicitor would have got him off with that. If the name was wrong in the summons and stuff like that, it would have been probably thrown straight out of court. But he goes on to say that the individual here was using CBD to treat his PTSD symptoms as he was abused as a child and unable to seek help due to the HSE and the legal Irish system burying the case many years ago, making it near impossible for the victims to seek help or even justice. He says losing friends and family to suicide during COVID-19 has really begun to affect him. He also mentioned CBD shops were deemed non-essential at this particular time during COVID-19, leaving him no choice but to seek another method that treat what he was experiencing: anxiety, PTSD, and depression. Should this man even have been in court, he asks. So that's an unfortunate case again. You know, another patient here being brought to court, an individual out there who was finding relief benefits from the use of cannabis. And again, you know, the guards profiling people, you know, maybe the individual was known to the guards because of past experiences there because of the way in which he medicates. You know, it's very unfortunate. And then the guards, when they go to court, oh yeah, we stopped and searched him because he smelt like cannabis. You know, that's how they justify the interaction there, why they stopped and searched you. Oh, he smelt like cannabis. How can you argue that with a guard? Especially when they search you and they find you with cannabis, then afterwards it's like, oh yeah, well, it didn't even smell like cannabis. It's in a smell-proof bag. How could he smell it? And it's just like, well, I was cycling past him. How could he smell it if I was cycling past him? And unless it was like some fucking dank stuff, like. But in fairness, like, come on, like, how like, what's the reality of that? Like, you're cycling past the cop and you got like, what, 90 quid's worth? Like, what's that? So he's saying there's about 4.5 grams, 5 grams worth of weed there in his pocket. Let's say 7 grams. Let's say he has a quarter. Is a quarter going to be that stinky that a car driving past you is going to be able to smell it? I don't know. Like, I just think there's something stinks about that story. Pardon the pun. Nice one, John. I'll check that link out there in a bit. Miss Dawes says, he's talking back to Papa. He says, Papa Gummy Bear, as a health minister, you should surely have to uphold the first principle of health practice. First, do no harm really bothers me. And Miss Dawes says, problem is, Papa, our minister has no relevant experience or qualifications for the roles they got. Look at Frank Fian, sure. Yep, and Frank Fian, when he got his role, he admitted, I've no allergy drugs, but sure, I learn as I go. Yeah, boy, that's great, isn't it? Is he going to get like fucking a trainee minister payment there? Like, you know, because if I was to get a job anywhere else and if I was needed to be trained as I was going along, you know, you probably get a bit of a reduced wage. You don't get paid as much of a trained person. But no, Frank Fian gets like the full minister's salary and the pension and all of that crack to go with it then as well. Sound, isn't it? Great job. So, I'll hopefully catch up there with the individual in question here in this and have a proper chat with them. Get to find out a bit more about their experience there and what they're doing going forward if they're paying the €250 charity donation and why. And what's the reason behind, you know, or what was the reason behind the guards, you know, if they were to stop, if they had stopped and searched them before. So yeah, hopefully we'll have that person on the show in the not too distant future. But we go from one man who smelled like cannabis to another. So this is a case coming out of Cork, where a person who smelled like cannabis drew the attention of the gardaí to the car, and the cops then, after searching the car, found cannabis and cocaine. It was €30 worth of cannabis and €70 worth of cocaine. Haul of the century, if you ask, you know. So this is a case that, as I say, it's coming out of Cork, and it's involving Powell Glowaski, 27 years of age, and living out in the south side of Cork there, let's say, not in the city anyway, out in the southern side suburbs. And also another individual, or no, sorry, it was just Powell Glowaski, and he was searched by Garda Thomas Delaney and found in possession of €30 worth of cannabis, €70 worth of cocaine, said to be for his own use. And it also turned out on the same date, he had no insurance in his car. That sucks. So for this case, the man in question, he'd been living in Ireland since the age of 12, it says here, with his parents. And the solicitor said Glowowski had no longer been involved in taking drugs. And Judge Keller said he will give him one last chance for drugs possession. He was fined €750. And for driving without insurance, he got a 5-month suspended jail sentence and 4 years driving disqualification as well. So €750 fine there, you know, for, what was it, €30 worth of cannabis, €70 worth of cocaine. Okay. Look, he could have got locked up, you know. He could have got a jail sentence or whatever. Like, but really, €750 fine for personal possession of drugs. It just makes no sense. If the only punishment the person is getting is monetary, then really this law is only a punishment for people who can't really afford to pay these fines. Like, if you're living off of €500 a week versus a person who's making $2,500 a week, like think about the difference a €750 fine makes in your life, you know. I imagine the person with €500 at the end of the week has a lot less disposable income than the person with $2,500 income a week, you know. So again, like this is just highlighting how these are prohibition of drugs. Really, it's just like a prohibition of drugs for poor people, because it's like if you're rich, you can afford these fines, and sure, it doesn't really matter anyway if you get a criminal conviction. Sure, you're rich. So yeah, that was a case out of Cork anyway, and where €30 worth of cannabis and €70 worth of cocaine was found after the smell of cannabis drew the attention of gardaí. Again, guys, just warning out there: be wide if you're traveling around in your car with cannabis. Make sure it's sealed. Don't have it open. Like, literally, invest in a fucking vacuum sealer. I don't give a shit if the cops raise your gaff and try to say that you're a big time dealer because you got a vacuum sealer. No, go and get yourself a vacuum sealer and seal up your cannabis before you go traveling. Honestly, like it's so worth the effort. Like, even if you've only got to go a 10-15 minute journey, like if you've got a gram or two in your pocket, that's gonna smell like if it's not properly sealed. Like, even just get a good smell proof bags. Like even those work for a period of time anyway. But yeah, don't be silly. Like yeah, wrap your I was gonna say wrap your something, wrap your ganji. Billy Bonds, you're forced to grow weeds to pay your weed fines. Yeah, that's your punishment for getting caught with weed. You gotta go grow weed and sell it and pay back your fine and not get caught in the process. It's just like an almost twisted version of Squid Games. Except they don't kill you. They're just going to prolong your suffering, make it harder for you to get by in life. It's even sicker than Squid Games. So we drive on anyway, guys, because in another story up the country, another delivery driver turned drug dealer. This is a delivery driver who was only in the country a year, and he said once he got to Ireland, he found it very expensive to live here. And he was obviously a lover of the herb, and he obviously said, hey, that stuff is very expensive, but I have some friends who enjoy it too, so I'm going to sell it to him. And I'm not really into it to make money, but I'm going to cover the cost of my own consumption. That was, at least that's what the guy led on in the court anyway, when he was up before the judge. Sorry, I'm just looking for the judge's name here, Judge Brian Smith. But this is Vicinius Ribeiro, Vicinius Ribeiro, 33 years of age, and is said to have been feeding his own addiction, you know what I mean? It's like fucking really strong, like, addiction to the drug, to cannabis. You know what I mean? The devil's lettuce. It got its hooks in him. He was addicted to the herb, and he couldn't control himself, and he had to go out there and sell it. He even found himself selling his body on the streets and all at one point. No, I made that last part up, honestly. Because they're obviously making this up. Okay, I get it. Vicinius Ribeiro and the solicitor came up with this cunning plan. No one ever thought of it before. It's like, right, you go into court and you pretend you're addicted to it. Tell them you're addicted and they'll go easy on you, because addiction is a sickness and they can't really punish you if you're sick. Not at least in a harsh way. No one ever thought of this before. But really all they're doing is just like, you're just making this prohibition continue even longer. This guy really, like, he hasn't got an addiction. In fairness, he enjoys the herb. Get over it, like. It's just ridiculous. Like, the guy needed to make some money. Ireland is expensive. There you go. That's the problem. Like, cannabis is expensive in Ireland, and if you can't afford it, then look, actually being able to sell a little bit to your friends, if you know a source for it, is a good way in order to get access to it without it costing you a fucking arm and a leg. Especially if you can't afford it, like. But Judge Brian Smith, then in this case, gave the man 9 months prison sentence, but he suspended it in its entirety for 2 years. So now Vicinius Ribeiro is walking around the streets of Ireland over having some cannabis in his property. It doesn't actually say how much cannabis was found in his property, but they also discovered weighing scales and baggies, and evidence of suspected drugs transactions there as well. So it seems he kind of got caught pretty red-handed there, in fairness, like. But to get a 9-month prison sentence and suspended for 2 years, and then you compare that then to another case there where there was sorry, no, I'm just getting the story up there. I just realised I didn't have it open in the background. A hurley with a knife attached. Yeah, there we go. A hurley with a knife attached. That was the one. And a man got guess what the man got for this? Like, I'm not going to tell you just yet. You know, I'm going to build a suspense on this one, but I want you to see basically like what this guy had. And he got caught with it, and he said it was for his own self-defense as well, apparently. So like, 1 second there now, and I'll get this up. There we go. So this is it. So apparently the man told gardaí he had a hurley that had a knife attached to it that was for his own protection. Like, would you believe it? Like, look at that. That's a fucking, like, that's a knife that's after being screwed on, like, and screwed in place, like, so that's like rigid. It's solid. And guys, think about how quick you can swing a fucking hurley, like. Imagine the damage you would do with this, like. Seriously, for your own defense. And now we compare that, like, to the delivery driver. You know, the delivery driver, in this case, I don't know, like, but how much cannabis, like, does he get caught with, like, to get a sentence that's more than this guy? Because do you know what this guy got? This guy got a 6-month sentence with 3 months suspended. So he's going to be back out in the streets in 3 months' time for that. Like, do you believe that's for his own self-defense? Like, come on, in fairness, like that, come on, if you're going to defend yourself, like, it's like an extendable baton or something, like a little taser or something along those lines, like, not this fucking monstrosity, like this guy should have got some serious time. This guy in this case, like, not only did he get caught in possession of this serious weapon, but he was also caught in possession of stolen goods, and he was charged with a public order charge as well. He had 46 previous convictions, including theft, firearms, sale and supply of possession of drugs, and also dangerous driving. Absolutely ridiculous, like this is the Irish justice system for you. Like, they're full effect, like, where the guy getting caught with some cannabis, like, I don't care how much cannabis this guy got caught with. Again, as I say, like, even if it was 50 kilos worth of cannabis, he should not be getting more than this guy. Like, if this guy had intentions to do some serious harm to people, even in defending himself, that's going to fucking kill. And he's getting less than the guy who got caught with cannabis. Like, who do you want to be walking around the streets with? Who? Like, did the guy who was got his gaff raided and they found some cannabis? Or the guy who's going with a fucking knife, like that thing? Like, man, like, do you know what I mean? Even John Rambo, I would be terrified of that dude. John Rambo would be running the other way. Like, he's like, no, you're crazy, fool. But seriously, like just think about like I was only out with my daughter there, like she does camogie and stuff, and I love being down in the hurling alley and whacking that bloody slither off the wall. It's a great old workout. But man, you can swing that feckin' hurley, like yeah, commando pro. I love it. Yes, Call of Duty reference right there for anybody who doesn't who doesn't get it. Love it, Irish Empire, good stuff. But seriously, like, what kind of a backwards justice system do we have where a guy's getting like a 6 month sentence for that monstrosity of a weapon, and another guy's getting 9 months for cannabis that we all know and love? Everybody wants cannabis. Nobody wants like if you were to throw cannabis at me, I would say thank you. Will you please throw some more at me? Do you know what I mean? If you were to throw that fucking Hurley knife at me, I would be like, what's up with this dude? ah. Yeah, Casa de Strugos, I'd agree with you there as well, actually. An ugly misuse of our national symbol, and sad to see people like this in Irish society. And even sadder to see judges treating these people less harshly than people involved in the for possession of drugs, even for their own personal use. I've seen people for personal possession of drugs probably getting worse sentences than that. Like, that's ridiculous. Like that guy should have had the book thrown at him. Like, you know, 10 years minimum, like for having weapons. Like as crazy as that. That's obscene. Like it really is. Like in fairness. Definitely wasn't well intended anyway with that, like, you know. Yeah, Papa Gummy Bear, that's an effing murder weapon. Yeah, that's my feeling too. Like, yeah, that's it. Like, if he went out and hit somebody with that, like, you know, that was not going to end well at all. And think about like just the emergency services who'd have to deal with that. Think of the other people, not just the person on the receiving end of it. People, all the people that has to deal with that along the way. The paramedics that'll have to arrive to the scene, then the emergency team back at the hospital, then the family and friends of the individual too. Like, you know, it's just devastating consequences for so many people. Cannabis? What's the devastating consequences for cannabis? Somebody's going to get the munchies. He might sleep in and get up late for work, maybe. Like, oh yeah, devastating. Nice one, Mark Downey. Great chat with Tommy Johnny saying there. Nice one, Mark. Appreciate that. John Finian says that was in an Nina, the town over from where I live. That the mad fecker with the hurl, 2019, if I remember correctly. Yeah, that's right. 2019. That was from 2 years ago. So as well, like to say that individual was out there walking around for the last 2 years, free as a bird. You know. Seriously, like, what other kind of weapons has he got out that he hasn't got caught with? Many dealers start selling to their friends, then it's friends of friends, etc. Yep, that's exactly what happens, Billy Bonds. That's exactly what happened to me. I started like being able to just buy the ounce, and then before I knew it, it was like getting 2-3 ounces in a week. And then before I knew it, it wasn't just my own circle of friends, but it was like some of their friends I would look after as well. And you know, before you knew it, you're just like a full-fledged freaking dealer, like, and it just like it's not something somebody sets off with intending to do. It's just something that just kind of snowballs, as you kind of say, like starts with friends and friends of friends and then friends of friends' friends. But you do draw a line somewhere, really, like. Mark Andrew, the courts offer him help with his addiction. I wouldn't think so. It's a €750 and get out the door. Go on away now and be thankful we're not locking you up, I'd say. Podge just on the way home and can't wait for the bowl. Nice, Podge. I'm actually going to pack up another one as you say that. So right, let's keep on going. We've one more headline to get through, and then we've got some more positive headlines outside of Ireland. Because above in Leitrim, there was 2 men arrested, both in their 20s, after €55,000 worth of cannabis and cocaine was seized. The men were taken to the Carrick on Shannon Garda station and again held under the Section 2 of the Drug Trafficking Act of 1996. Excuse me. Yeah, this is in Leitrim, where cannabis herb with an estimated street value of €50,000 and cocaine estimated to be worth €5,000, subject to analysis, were discovered after the gardaí executed a search warrant under the Misuse of Drugs Act 1977 at about 9 a.m. at a residence in Ballinamore. So at 9 o'clock, an early morning call there. Two men, both in their 20s, were arrested and taken to the Garda station, held under Section 2 of the Drug Trafficking Act. Gardaí at Ballinamore were assisted by members of the Armed Support Unit in the operation, and investigations are continuing, and the drugs were forwarded to the Forensic Science Ireland for further analysis. So again, more wasted time, resources there by the Irish state fighting this failed prohibition of drugs. Also, again, another example of how the prohibition of drugs puts cannabis and cocaine side by side, therefore putting the young people, yes, young people, because young people know all about cannabis, and it seems like such a cool thing to do. It's like it's illegal still, so it still has that like allure to the young people. So it attracts them in, and then they try cannabis, and they're like, oh, what about these other drugs that are also illegal now, like cannabis? Because cannabis wasn't that bad. Now I might try these other drugs, so it makes them more accessible to them, and the fact that it's from the same place then as well, as in the seller is selling both of them. It makes it even more easier there for young people. We see the devastating consequences of that then here in Dundalk in Ireland, where again, and I hate to keep mentioning about the Keane Mulready Woods, it's probably one of the most extreme ones that we've seen in Ireland to date, where a young fella, not even a man, a teenager, dismembered, body chopped up, and literally different pieces of his body found in different parts of the bloody country, inside in burnt out cars and all stuff. Like, it's really messed up, like. And apparently the guys want to continue with this. They want to continue with this vile policy. They want to like double down. It's like, no, we can do this. We can stop people from wanting to take drugs. Like, yeah, the hell you can. You can't even stop people from wanting to rape people. You know, in fairness, like, nobody wants to be raped. Like, I'm sure the people who buy the cocaine and cannabis, like, they want it. Like, they're consenting. Like, so put more effort into fucking deterring rape than drug use, and maybe our society might be a better bloody place. And a safer one too. So yes, finish the Ireland news. Yes, I'll smoke to that. So let's blaze on up a little bowl of civil disobedience here again, and we'll get into some of the brighter side of the news outside of Ireland, unfortunately. And guys, also I just want to give a shout out there to Vera Toomey. I listened to the podcast there recently of with herself and Simpa Carter over on the Simpa Life. Recommend checking it out if you haven't listened to it already. It's about 2 hours long, just over 2 hours, I believe. But it's well worth a listen. I'll hopefully have Vera on the podcast in the not too distant future myself. I'm going to aim to sit down and do it in person, as I've always been intending to do with Vera. Don't want to do the Zoom thing. I definitely want to be able to do it in person. So fingers crossed we'll be able to do that there in the coming weeks. Yeah, so check that out if you haven't already done so anyway. Let's blaze on up. Yeah, it didn't seem like 2 hours. Yeah, a great interview. Teresa saying, yeah, I was cooking dinner there this morning, preparing some dinner for the family that got started early, and threw on the podcast there while I was doing that. And yeah, really enjoyed it, in fairness, and it was great to have Vera in a 2 hour long interview as well. Sick of hearing her in 5 minutes, like on all of these stupid Irish radio stations. Like, to hear 2 hours of that lady was it was really enjoyable. I enjoyed it now, I have to say. Looking through your comments there, guys. Listen to that interview with Vera earlier today. It was very good as well, coming in from Johnny F. Nice. Daily Talker. Hey man, how are things? What's happening, Daily Talker? Welcome to the show. And Monsieur Fudge. Fuck, that's where I am. Only 3 dealers here. Small circles. Yo, look, that look doesn't look like self-defense. No, it definitely isn't, Rudy. Yeah, definitely. Keith Griffin also about the Hurley earlier saying that was made with the intentions to do serious harm. 100%, lad. Nothing else. So let's drive on. Right, guys, let's get to the positive side of the news. Yay. Let's go with Canada. And, apologies, close down the Chrome there. We were going to Canada, where the Speakeasy Cannabis Club was actually reporting on these guys last year, around this very same time, because, well, maybe actually a couple of months after this, but around this time last year, these guys were, after reporting that they had a record-breaking harvest, they brought in, I believe it was over 70 tons of cannabis last year, and they believe this year they've beat it again. This is a massive operation over there in Canada now, in fairness. It spans a couple of 100 acres. And in fairness, the guys have it very well set up. This is the Canada Speakeasy Cannabis Club, and the harvest that they're harvesting at the moment is supposed to be record breaking, and it's going to continue right up until the end of October, or as they're calling it in the industry over there, Croptober, because they're all harvesting their crops, cannabis crops. I have a little video here, guys, that I'm going to pop up on screen there now in a second for you. And it's just featuring Mark Geen. And I don't know, was this, I don't think this was the video I played for you last year, but it's just showing a little bit of the operation over there, and it's impressive to say the least. So, yeah, I might pack up another bowl while this one plays for you. I advise maybe you do the same. So here we go. This is Mark Geen from the Speakeasy Cannabis Club in Canada.
When you think of the industrial production of cannabis, you're probably thinking indoor production, like what's behind me. And at Speakeasy, they're building more of that. But what truly sets them apart is this: 60 acres of outdoor production, one of the biggest you're going to see anywhere.
It's the perfect environment for it. We originally bought the ranch to grow ginseng, and it was perfect for that, and for cherries, it's great for that. An arid climate like we have here is just really conducive to growing crops, provided you can have some other the inputs that are required, which is the length of season and water to water everything, and we have all of that here.
So, at 60 acres. Is there anything on this scale anywhere in Canada, this much being grown outside?
So I've heard of a couple. I think there was one that was 100 acres, but I believe only a portion of that was being planted. As far as I know, I don't think anyone's done 60 acres in one spot before. And I don't think anybody has come off with the acreages with as much per acre as we're projecting here.
This name Geen is a big name in agriculture in Kelowna, in orcharding in particular. Is the background knowledge that comes from your own roots, so to speak, help as you make this transition?
My family's been in it since around the turn of the century in Kelowna. My great-grandfather came and settled in the Ellison area.
I can imagine how nice they smell.
Grandfather took after him. Every Geen has been born in KGH since then, including one, my latest, just yesterday. Yeah, there's a long history, and we've pretty much all been farmers in one way or the other.
Was making this transition something that some members of your family were kind of taken aback by? Was there some difficulty getting them to see it as just another agricultural product?
It's something I took to my parents, and I thought it would be maybe a hard sell, because my parents have never, up to that point, had ever partaken at all. They somehow made it through the 60s without ever trying anything. I know, yeah, they're that 1%. But they were all over it. It was so exciting right from that time. And the idea that this would be something we could all do as a family and transition from cherries into, because it is just another form of agriculture when you get right down to it. No other form of agriculture that I know of has as much stigma or culture attached to it as cannabis, but it is, in essence, a plant growing outside with the addition of the things that it takes to keep alive. We have built more indoor production. We've got 53,000 square feet coming online later this year. It's just going through the amendment process right now. Currently we have 10,000 square feet. So we will have, once that, and then this other building just down here, another 26,000 square feet, we'll have about 100,000 square feet of indoor production, which will put us at around 4,000 pounds per month production. Between that and the outdoor, that's a lot of product.
If I told you 15 years ago that you'd be growing weed,
15 years ago, where was I 15 years ago? Yeah, no, I was in the middle of transitioning from cherries to Canada.
you wouldn't have believed me.
No. Even 3 years ago, there was a lot of question about whether or not they would allow outdoor production.
Well, most of this, will it wind up rolled in a joint, or will it be consumed in some other manner at the end?
Really depends, and it's
Look at those colas, like. They're just like fat, like your man could barely put his hand around it. Like when he was looking at it there, like he couldn't even chuckle it. Like, you know, he's like just that fat. Like, oh, glorious sight. Sorry, I'll let you finish. Just spotted as well. Look at the length of the video. I don't know if you can see it out there, but it's 4 minutes and 20 seconds long. Shout out to the video editors who made that. Legends.
I don't have the crystal ball to be able to look into that, so all we can do is get it down and get it restored in a position where we haven't ventured down one road or another that makes it impossible to come back. So if we don't chop it up assuming everything's going to go into a pre-roll and decide, I wish we didn't do that, so now we need solid nugs. We have everything so that we can process, we can sell as flower as a finished product, we can put into pre-rolls, we can combine with other indoor varieties and have a blended pre-roll. All the options are there available to us. It just depends what the market dictates.
The entire outdoor crop, all 60 acres, is expected to be fully harvested by mid-October. For Kelowna Now, this is Kent Mulgat reporting from Rock Creek.
Sick, isn't it? Like that's some serious one. Like if you just turn the clocks back, right? Let's go back to, was it 2013 with Luke Ming Flanagan with his bill there to legalise and regulate cannabis in Ireland. Like think about like that story, but just think about it based in Ireland and the possible farmer there. Like let's say that was Tony Keogh. You know, let's just think about it. Like in Tony Keogh there getting interviewed by RT, and it's like standing in his 60 acres there of cannabis, and he's like, yeah, we used to be growing spuds, but there wasn't much money in it, and it wasn't as enjoyable. And cannabis is so much more enjoyable to grow, and it's much more enjoyable to consume as well, and it makes the spuds taste even nicer. But you know, imagine the difference there, the difference in dynamic, like compared to what we had gone through in reality. Tony Keogh being dragged through the courts in his elderly age for his little gardening experiment, as he called it, you know. It's crazy. Like it's just so backwards, the contrast there. And this is on the same planet. Like literally just hop on a plane, like is it 8-9 hours there to get to Canada from Ireland, whatever the trip might be. But you know, you hop in an airplane, you head on over there, and that's the reality over there. The farmers who grow cannabis are actually interviewed, and they're like, oh yeah, these guys are bringing in so much money for the community. Actually, the money coming from this is going to contribute to so many pieces of fucking life-saving equipment there at our local hospital. You know, think about it. Like it's just backwards what we do here. Like what we're doing here is we put money into trying to stop the farmers from being prosperous and being innovative and catering for the desires there of the people out in the community who want to consume this product. But yeah, 60 acres, yeah, a lot. I mistakenly said a couple of 100 acres, but I think what I was maybe mixing that up with was the couple of 100,000 square foot that they had on the indoor facilities. Maybe it was crossing my wires, but still 60 acres. Like impressive. In fairness, like imagine the smell that's emanating from that field at that moment of recording there. Those plants were like in full flower, like those like were really resinous too. I'd imagine with the sunshine coming down, hitting off them as well, like that, the terpenes were just pungent in the air. Glorious to be bear witness to it, I'd say. I would love that. Like, imagine just strolling through that field, how happy you would be afterwards. Baked spuds coming in there from Martin Horgan, Tony Keogh special. Yeah, Keogh's cannabis infused spuds. Mark Downey's drooling. He says discreet ex-gardener available foot trimming trade for trim, keef, or even scissor hash. By the way, I'm serious. Anybody out there is in need of somebody who wants to work, even for scissor hash, well, don't look no further than Mark Downey in the audience there, guys. I'm sure there's many people out there could definitely do with a trustworthy assistant at that time of need, the trimming time, especially if you got like 4 or 6 like lovely plants. Even 2 plants, like in fairness, like it's still about like 3 or 4 hours of work in trimming it. Like if you're going to do a good job of it. But yeah, it's always good to have a companion while doing it. I always bear a good companion there with my buddy. And it's important as well to have an extra one there for if you're not going to be using a bong. A big problem when you're trimming, sticky fingers, and you can't roll then afterwards. Like, so it's always good to have a spare set of hands there, not involved in the trimming, just there for the rolling and making cups of tea. Those were the good days when there was, again, as I say, like many years ago, there used to be a few of us growing in the same house, and geez, we used to have some serious trimming parties. Right, let's drive on. We've 2 more headlines to get through, and then we're kaput with today's 420 news. And we're going to go to Michigan, heading to America for the next headline. We're in Michigan. Good news if you're a person involved in the trade there, because sales have increased by 50% compared to last year. They're up to $161.4 million in the month of September. So that's a fair old bit of dosh to be bringing in just a 1 month. And considering September is one of the shorter months as well, with only 30 days in it, that's quite an impressive sum of money to be bringing in. But this is in Michigan anyway, where the market's done quite well. It says that the Michigan Cannabis Regulatory Agency breaks out the sales by medical and adult use. And I have those here actually up on screen, so they're showing actually the different sales of products there, based on the different markets. And here in September, they're showing for just the adult market that there was pounds. There was over 18,500 pounds of flour sold. There was another over 4,000 pounds of trim. And then, like, you look at all the other bits of concentrate, the vape carts and stuff like that, then it all adds up. But just looking at the flour and shake there, like, considering, is it 2.2 pound per kilo? Like, you're talking some impressive numbers here, like, being sold. And even more impressive income there, revenue off the back of it then, like 61 million there in the sale of flowers alone. Now, Michigan has a population of, is it 10 million? Just shy of 10 million people. I think it was like 9.9 million people there in the 2019 census, or whatever the way in which they take the population over there. So that was the number there. So they've got about, just say, double what Ireland has. And they're bringing in that amount of money over there. You think about the market here. So let's imagine that this is in Ireland. So in this month alone, of the sale of cannabis in Ireland, potentially out there, organised crime gangs are making in the tune of 25 million euro. Now, considering that this is a legal market as well, because you know what happens in the legal market when cannabis becomes legal? While the sales go up, that drives the prices down. Yes, because when you sell more cannabis, economies of scale there, as you're able to get the price down as the sales go up, and then keep on increasing your profit. So like that, this is a great news for the consumer out there, because going back to January of 2020, it was about just over $8,000 a pound. You fast forward to September 2021, now you're getting like $3,500 for a pound. Now that's bad news for producers, but like, as I say, hopefully producers are doing their part, economies of scale, whatever, that they're getting their costs down in order to get the price of the product down there to compete on the market with some of the larger producers out there. And again, you always have your craft products as well. That's going to bring a little bit of the price up. But still, happy feckin' days there for them over there. But here in Ireland at the moment, like this isn't the effect. It's not. No, it's the opposite. Like this is the effect in Ireland. What we're seeing, like, is the price. If you would imagine, like, that this sales chart here, that's the price of it. Since the pandemic, the price of cannabis has been going up in Ireland, and it should be going down. In fairness, like, if we were to do the right thing here and actually regulate the market, the price of cannabis is going down. It's incredibly inflated. €20 a gram, Get out of town. That's ridiculous. Show me any other plant out there that's worth €20 for a gram of it. No, it's just like, imagine somebody trying to sell you a head of lettuce for 20 fucking euros. Like, a head of lettuce, what does that take to grow? I think it takes like fucking, I don't know, is it like 12 weeks as well to grow a head of lettuce? Just out of curiosity. I believe it's like somewhere in the region of like 6 to 14 weeks. There you go, 6 to 14 weeks. Okay, it's like 6 weeks if you're a really fast grower of it and get some harvestable lettuce. But there you go, it takes about the same amount of time that a cannabis plant takes to. So like, why should you be getting that much more for your lettuce or for your cannabis than you do for your lettuce? It makes no sense. So there you go. Like, cannabis should be about as cheap as your bloody lettuce. And lettuce is pretty fucking cheap. It's a plant, guys. It's a plant. It's madness like that they're paying all this crazy money for it. But then we compare the sales of products. Then there, as I say, this is the adult market. Then this is the medical market. So the medical market is much smaller than the adult market there in Michigan, but still sizable, bringing in a sizable amount of money there for the economy. I don't believe this is taxed in the same way as this other one. So while the adult use is bringing in probably more taxes for the states off of the sales, but still that's a bit of income there for businesses. That's some people in jobs. It's only good. So happy days. Well done, Michigan. So as I say, guys, this news is normally good, depending on your perspective. If you're one of the lucky people over there in Michigan taking part in this industry, that's good news for you. If you're here in Ireland, you're just going to be pulling out your hair. I mean, like, why are we criminals here for this? So, nice one. Yeah, info is power and very educational. Well done, Martin. Nice one. Not a bad at all, Sean T. Cassidus Drugas had lovely lettuce pork belly wrap today. And imagine if they tried to charge you like as much for your lettuce, per gram as you get charged for cannabis. Like, it would be fucking more than what the pork in the sandwich was probably. You just wouldn't pay it, but for some crazy reason we paid for fucking cannabis. Like, I just can't understand it. Like, but it's only made possible because of prohibition. If prohibition wasn't about, guys, honestly, cannabis would be. It wouldn't be that important at all, really. Everybody would just probably have their own little patch of cannabis growing, and it wouldn't be worth very much at all. And the kids wouldn't be as interested in it because it's no longer cool to be, consuming it. Yeah, I am Toby. Overgrow the government. Let us, yes, let us do it. Final headline feed today, guys, and we'll call it a day after that. Then. We'll get through some more comments then and have a little bit more crack. A recent survey done over in America found that 60% of the people who took part in the survey would like to consume cannabis with their grandparents. Interesting one. That was just interesting question to be asking. Like, why not the parents? They probably asked that question as well in within that. But how would you compare if you were asked that question? Would you want to consume something? Would you like to consume some cannabis with your grandparents? Have you already consumed it with your grandparents? I know I've only got one grandparent left still alive at the moment, and I think I was telling you about it there not too long ago. We had the volcano out the back garden at my mum and dad's place, and I was getting warned, don't you be offering that now to your nan at all. She's very old. One of my aunts was giving out to me, and I was like, I won't, and I couldn't then after that. Like, but my nan like loves her drink. Like, she's fair as fond of the drink. And I would definitely be answering yes to that. I'd love to be able to sit down with my nan and like she loves her Google box or goggle box. I don't know what it's called. That show on TV where you watch people watching TV. It's the most freakiest concept ever. Like, I don't get it. But she loves to watch that, and I'd love to be able to sit down and have an old toot with my granny and watch that. I'm sure it'd be an enjoyable evening. Lots of cups of tea had, and maybe even a few chocolate biscuits. She's not diabetic or anything like that, so we've no worries there. But like, think about it. Like she's in. I'm not sure exactly of her age, but I believe it was her 70th recently. I think so. But imagine to go through 70 years of your life and to have never enjoyed cannabis. You know, it's just like one of these things like that. Surely it's an experience to be had, and what's life but for living and for having these experiences? And how can you make any judgments without actually having first-hand experience yourself? I don't know. I just for me, it just seems like such a shame that people pass from this earth and not know the joys of a munchies, of the giddy bangs. Do you know? Of even just a kind of a paranoia bang. You know, I'm being a bit freaked out. Those can be funny too at times. Like even being on the receiving end of them, as I say, like I enjoy the challenging experiences that come with cannabis at times too. I've gone deep with edibles, and it was challenging to say the least. But that wasn't the only question asked in that study. There was other findings there inciting that study. Of the people asked, 58% of them believe that cannabis is going to be the future of pain management. So that's a very good one. That's a very interesting one, because some of the people who took part in this survey were actually medical users as well. This is a mix of medical users and recreational users. So it was an interesting one there. A lot of people finding relief from cannabis, and they're not alone in that. There was a recent survey, and I didn't include that in the headlines actually. I just kind of came across it over the weekend, but it was coming out from the Medical Cannabis Registry in the UK, where they surveyed over 100 of the participants, and many of them, it was like 80 or 90, over 80% of them found cannabis to be more effective at treating their condition than what was conventionally available to them. And those conditions then were made up of people suffering with chronic pain, neuropathic pain, and fibromyalgia. And those three groupings alone made up over 80% of the people who responded to it. So again, over in the UK, like there's an incredible amount of people being prescribed and benefiting from access to cannabis for chronic pain management, for many different conditions there. And I just want to give a shout out there to the Fibro Warriors in Wexford, to Jen Devlin, past guest of the show as well. Another great interview. Really enjoyed chatting with Jen. But check that one out. So just shout out to the Fibro Warriors there, and all the other people out there campaigning for better access to cannabis in order to treat their chronic pain. Nobody should be suffering needlessly when there is an effective remedy out there that could be easily grown by a person who knows how, and even a person who doesn't know how could easily learn how to do it too. It's not that difficult. So again, as I say, like the suffering of these people, it is needless, because the remedy is such. It's so easy to access if the regulators, the authorities, just got the hell out of the way. Like, in fairness, oh, it's crazy. Like, some other findings within there. More than half of the survey's respondent identified as sorry, I just mixed up somebody. Yeah, more than half of them said that they prefer to consume cannabis in the form of gummy, and 30% that said that they prefer chocolate or a different kind of cannabis edible over gummies. Over 39% of the people preferred to smoke cannabis, and 22% said that they preferred a vaporizer. And those numbers don't really add up there in that, like, but maybe there was some way that they were taking these. People probably were able to answer, pick a couple of preferred options. Cannabis beverages then were preferred by 17%, while 13% said that their preferences is cannabis topicals. And it says, yeah, here, respondents were permitted to select multiple preferred consumption methods. So there you go. That's why the numbers actually didn't add up. Nearly 2/3 of 64% of the cannabis users said that they consume cannabis to relax. 43% that they said that they used cannabis as a sleep aid, and a third of them, 37%, or over a third, said that they used cannabis for general health and wellness, while 39% said that they used cannabis recreationally. I hate that term. More than two-thirds, 70% of all the respondents said that they knew the difference between CBD and THC. And again, 45% of them, or 58% of them said that cannabis is the future of pain management. And 45% said that they've experienced microdosing. So that's an interesting one there. Quite a few people took part in this survey as well. It was carried out by the Americans and Cannabis Consumption survey by Azuka. So that's the title of it, and it was by Azuka, Azuca. If you happen to want to look that up at all. So positive news there again, that they hear from many people out there benefiting from the use of cannabis. And here we are over in Ireland, still locking people up, stopping and searching people because they smell like their medicine. That's just so messed up. Imagine if Calpol was illegal and you smelled like Calpol. It's not a nice smell. It's just the only medicine I could think of that smelled nice. The kids one, the purple one. I can remember I used to get killed by my mum for wanting to eat the bloody stuff. They made it too tasty. We say no more on that. But imagine, it's just pure discrimination. It's not these people's fault that cannabis is what benefits them. It's what lifts their affliction. For me, as I say, it's not my fault. When I first tried that bit of hash with my cousins, that I enjoyed it. And it didn't do any bad for me. And if it didn't do any bad for me, why would I not come back and try it again and enjoy it again, and watch more movies, get more munchies and chill out with the lads, have a bit of crack. I was working Monday to Friday anyway. It's the weekend, lads. I'm just after buying my bit of hash out of my bloody wages that I worked hard for anyway. It's like, what harm am I actually doing? What harm was I doing? As I say, when I was with the lads smoking a bit of hash in the gaff watching movies, well, we weren't out up to no good. We weren't out causing any mischief around the place. We were far less likely to get into any trouble chilling, watching a movie, getting the munchies, and that was it. But no, for some crazy reason, we're criminals and our state has to spend hundreds of bloody millions every bloody year in order to deter that kind of activity, which was so enjoyable. I enjoyed it, The lads enjoyed it. There was no victims of that activity. The only victims afterwards was when I got caught with fucking cannabis. And look at me now because of that. PTSD through the roof. I gotta medicate her now. And protest at the same time. Cassidus Drugas says, I completely replaced smoking with oil during the pandemic last year with good success. Tolerance builds quickly though. Yeah, that's right, definitely. I wouldn't mind being able to smoke probably a bit less and have a bit of access there, but quality extracts, they're not that great to come by. And once you kind of have the flower there, then it's just I'm just going to enjoy that because it's just as enjoyable anyway. And yeah, effectively I'm still running 6-minute kilometers anywhere, or sub 6-minute kilometers, so I'm not doing too bad. Just yet. Gotta do it, Marty, and tell a noble lie to your aunt, Cassis is saying as well. Hey, you're like the devil on me shoulder, right? Go on, do it. Don't just tell him a lie. It'll be okay. I love it. Yeah, definitely needed that encouragement there on the evening. Maybe sometime again, I've called up to my nan quite a bit. We might slip it in the conversation there and just be like, oh yeah, you remember that night into cannabis? Would you ever like to try it? Call up with a brownie. No, a brownie would be too much, I'd say. It'd be easier to dose with the vape, I'd say. Even though she doesn't smoke, so maybe an edible is preferable actually, now that I think of it. Who knows? Hype says, don't like Google Box, but I have a weird thing watching people react to shows I like on YouTube to see what they think. Good lord. Neighbours are cutting the grass. 1 second. My apologies. Tobron arm. Did it boom. Podge, my nan caught me smoking when I was young. Laugh out, she wasn't happy. Toby saying, my granny had some THC capsules for sleep and back pain, but she had 2 once and woke up baked and got spooked. Yeah, that'll happen. That'll happen. Like, honestly, like, there is a fine line there with the dose. Like, and this is why it's important to have access to good quality products. Good consistency there, you know, and reliable labeling as well. In order to avoid things like that, because like the difference between taking 1 and 2 can be quite a bit like that. You're talking about 40 milligrams to 80 milligrams, for example, if 40 is what was in it. And that's quite a jump in dosage. Like you're doubling your dose. It would be nice for people to be able to have access to you know, more specific dosages there for them, so that they don't have situations like your granny. Like the idea, like the Rick Simpson on, like, oh, take the size of a grain of oil or something like that. So it's like that's not very scientific. Like, it's not very specific. Are all grains of oil or rice equal? But I get it's like a rough idea. But it's just not good enough for patients when it comes to that like side of it. I did, Robert. We reported on that there last week. He was up in court there recently, actually, that retired guard. But yeah, we'll see if there's any more updates on it. It seems like the media have gone very quiet now around the retired guard of John Murphy and his over €13,000 worth of cannabis that he got caught with. They're not even saying now anymore that he got caught with like fucking 500 or 600,000 worth. It's like over 13,000 worth. Sly dogs, aren't they? Other comments out there. Each plant is different, depends on the resin heads. Sorry, just looking through some of the older comments there, guys. 1 second. I'll flick up to the newer ones. Nice one there, Keith. Great job again, bro. Not about it. Nice one. Nice one for the feedback, guys. Mark didn't hear the lawnmower. I could hear it coming through on my mic, but it's probably getting cut out by the silencer and the app. So good to hear it's working. It was still distracting me though. Pods 4420, too busy this week, but defo have to go on another mushy hunt this weekend. Guys, it's a glorious evening for a mushy hunt. Pod 85, yeah, a lot of people being unlucky on finding them, but it's only just coming into the season properly now. Yeah, it's kind of unseasonably still warm at the moment. But the nighttime temperatures are dropping alright, so that should encourage a bit more fruiting now on the lower lying lands. So fingers crossed soon, hopefully around my area. Again, you know, I'm in Cork here, like we're very hilly, but even the big hills are not that fucking high. John Finnegan says, Tommy Chong, he's quoting Tommy Chong here actually. You eat a corner of a brownie and get high. Then what happens? You're high and you got a brownie in your hand. Yes. I see where that goes. No bueno. That's why it's always important, guys, and that's another warning. Word of advice: when you're making brownies, if you're making edibles, make it an unedible edible. No, that make no sense. Like making a cannabis-free edible. Just make brownies, just normal brownies. I think that was a meme going around. I'm going to making cannabis edibles, but without the cannabis. So you're baking. But yeah, it's always advisable to make a second batch with no active ingredient. And so in order to avoid that, as Tommy Chong says it there, you know, something to munch on when you got the munchies and it not get you even deeper and into an abyss, into a deep dark abyss. And it can get intense, like those fucking edibles, like they're no joke at times, like. Guys, there's lots of talk there about mushies coming in. I'm actually going to pop up on the screen there because I was actually going to do a little topic on it, mushy season in effect. but it kind of is in some ways. We'll just go into this there now, but where are they? There we go. These are some mushies. Yes. These were taken last night. I gathered some of these photos last night from psilocybes of Britain and Ireland. And this was one photo put up there by somebody over in Wales. This came from. And it's sunbathing up the mountain with my wrinkly friends. And these are absolutely beautiful photos. I would look at photos of mushrooms all day long. Like, they're just glorious. Like, and it's like looking at them is like, it's definitely not as enjoyable as taking them, but it's like almost as enjoyable. They're just cool looking. Like, I love being out walking and seeing mushrooms around the place. Like, and they're just so intriguing to look at. This is put up there by another person up there on the same Facebook group. So again, mushroom season in full effect in certain parts of the world. This is a mixture of Ireland and Britain. This photo itself, actually, again, coming from somebody in Wales, I believe. This next photo, though, is going to be somebody from Ireland, and it's a picture of their harvest, and it's somebody in the audience. You know who you are. But incredible harvest there by this individual. Quite a few mushies, in fairness. Isn't that right? A sizable haul, I'd imagine, once dried there. You're definitely talking about, like, what, a good 50 grams, like, sorted for microdoses for the next year or two. So guys, definitely get out there, keep the head down, and you might come across something really nice growing in the grass. And don't forget to check the wood chip areas there as well around Lidl and Aldi. They're always said to be good spots to check out for the psilocybe cyanosis. That's otherwise known as the wavy cap. So again, look at these beauties. Like these, I kept the best to last. No offense against the last picture I showed there. That's an incredible harvest, but like these are some incredible specimens right now up on the screen. Like they're just like picture perfect. Like those three in the top left corner, like they're like beautiful boobies. Like honestly, I can't think of a better way to describe them. I just want to like just look at them. Like they're just perfect little boobies. Like they're just things of beauty. Like maybe this is why these mushrooms are just so attractive. But look at them. Like they're just fucking fantastic looking. So yes, guys, this is the psilocybe semilenciata. Jeez, I'm terrible with my Latin names. Otherwise known as Liberty Cap's common name. I'm better with the common names of these mushrooms. So again, these mushrooms, these are easy to identify. There is no dangerous lookalikes out there. Again, just look for that nipple on top. Look for that wizard's hat. That's the one over on the right middle and bottom one that has the kind of the wizard cap type of effect, almost like a little hut. Or else you can have a little bit more rounded there, but like the top left one's a bit more like boobies. But those aren't as regular. You're more likely to see the ones with the kind of the more cone shape than the rounded shape. But those rounded shape ones, they're just fucking beautiful. So yes, mushroom season in full effect, guys. Get out there, get hunting. But just do your homework, guys. That when you're doing it, you're only doing it for spore prints, guys. It's just for microscopic purposes. You're not going to be consuming these edible mushrooms. They're actually illegal to pick, I believe, and I can't be condoning people to break laws. But we got to protest together, guys. So get your cannabis at the ready and let's protest together. But don't be breaking no laws, guys. But protesting is perfectly legal. And it's within your human rights, actually. You have to be able to protest like that. That's like, if they don't allow you to protest, it's a violation of your rights, guys. So Oh, so tasty. Oh, what's happening? Welcome to the audience there, Mackie. Saying evening to everyone. And Pod85 saying that that's why I like them so much. Yes, puns galore. Lovely. Check out Fantastic Fungi on a Netshits. Yes, guys, definitely do check out the Fantastic Fungi over on Netflix. Great feckin' movie, in fairness, like great documentary. Really does highlight the wonderful world there of mushrooms and all that they have to offer us. They really have a lot to offer us here in terms of the potentials for bioremediation, for alternatives to some of the more harmful products that we consume, like plastics currently. Some great stuff out there on like mushrooms as well for like vegans. Like there's some great tasting mushrooms now, like mushrooms that taste like bacon. Not that vegans should like that. Like I don't understand why a vegan should like that. But obviously I do. I'm joking. But yeah, or sorry, bacon tasting mushrooms, not vegan tasting mushrooms. That'd be a bit messed up. Mushrooms that taste like vegans. A meat eater's fantasy. I kid. Sorry, vegans. Just joking. Can we all just get a bong? Hey. Back from the dog walk. Time for weed news. Nice. I gotta go out and walk the dogs there now before we go Thai boxing. So yes, glorious sunshine out there. So thankful for that. Got another 3 or 4 minutes there anyway before I gotta run, guys. But we'll get through a couple more of your comments. If you want me to read out any of your comments, just hit me at Martin's World. Otherwise, I'm just gonna keep on going through from where I am here. Pods, Arcade, O'Halloran, Wizard, Sleeves there about the mushrooms. Yeah, definitely not a good one. But I also have used that to describe something else as well. I don't know if you know what I'm getting at, but I've definitely seen a wizard sleeve or two. Not in mushrooms anyway. Casa de Strugas. Okay, the flight leaving the runway and about to munch into this brownie. Thanks for the news. Nice evening all. What? Casa de Strugas out there jetting off around the world, man, while watching 420 news. Nice, man. Hopefully you're going somewhere nice anyway. Back to the Azores, I'd imagine. You might be getting back there for 420, will you? Nah, it's a bit longer of a flight than that, isn't it? Have a safe flight anyway, pal. Chat you when you get back here in Ireland. Boom. Robert McCormick, you can grow them as well. Talking about mushrooms there. Yes, you can indeed. I've have a lot of experience with growing mushrooms. I've grown some psychedelic ones in the past, but I have a lot more experience growing gourmet mushrooms. I used to be growing shiitakes at home. I used to be growing oyster mushrooms and lion's mane mushrooms. Yeah, I used to really enjoy that actually. It was quite an experience. Should really get back into it now in fairness, like, but or like podcasting, kids, Thai boxing, college. It's like mankind, like. But someday soon, I'd love to get back into mushroom growing again. Great crack. Yeah, you can get spores online. You can indeed. You can get even the pre-grown kits like the mycelium, and you just fruit the mushrooms yourself at home. It's not actually illegal to have the mycelium. Some loophole in the law there, like you can possess the mycelium, and it's not until it actually produces fruits that it's actually illegal. So there you go, little info feed there in that one. And Robert's asking, anybody ever tried DMT? I have. Great crack. Very enlightening. That's what I would say about it for sure. I done over a year's research into it before I ever tried it. Crafted my own. Consumed it with a little bit of cannabis through a bong and cured my nighttime insomnia caused by anxiety due to a fear of death, I suppose. I don't know. That's how I would describe it anyway. A fear of death. This kind of what happens afterwards, like heaven, hell. What's all this stuff about? Like if I go to heaven and my kids don't get in, that's going to be a nightmare, you know. But yeah, definitely DMT sorted all of that right out, and never really had problems kind of since then with that, thankfully. But definitely long overdue a visit back. I actually have a little bit of changa right here for maybe Trip sometime very soon. Um, Nice. Four road massive sister just back from walking the dog, and she said that there's a load of mushies in the park up the road. Happy days. Where to buy kits? Last two got stopped. What? They got stopped? No way. They shouldn't be able to stop those kits by right. Mycelium itself is not illegal. So they shouldn't get stopped at all. You just dispute it with them, get onto them and say, hey, come here, prove that that's illegal, and they can't do it. Tell them it's shiitakes. Tell them it's fucking shiitake mushrooms you're buying in to grow, and they'll just give it back to you. They have to. But maybe by the time they've stopped it, seized it, and you get it back, it might have fruited, and then they'll be like, they ain't shiitakes. So it depends on where you want to go with that one. Maybe they actually fruited while in transit as well. That could be why they got stopped as well. Possible. Try mixing some mushies with some weed in a solid. See what happens. What you saying, Kieran? What do you mean mixing mushies with weed in a solid? Like, you mean put it into like chocolate or something, like cannabis chocolate and mushies? I ain't following. Mix it in a solid. I'll keep an eye out for your response there, Kieran. John Finnegan loving the changa. Yes, nice one. Do it live, bro. Oh, I don't know. Would I do it live? Ooh, that could be an interesting one. Like, you know, because you do dissociate in a bit. Like, you kind of like go away. Like, it's not very interactive. Like, you're gonna have like 5 or 6 minutes of just silence of me just sitting there with my eyes closed. It's not going to make for great streaming. I already have a video recording of it, which I've contemplating releasing, but it's stuck in a laptop that's not powering on at the moment. So I just have to get a cable to connect to the hard drive, and we might release that one sometime soon. For educational purposes, for sure. High and homegrown, definitely. Yeah, edibles. Kieran was on about there and mixing it in solid edibles. Yeah, I think Casa de Strugas there might have tried that. No, actually, it was just chocolate and mushies, actually. But they were quite nice in fairness, and I think I was the one who brought some edibles. Or we just might have been smoking a lot of weed. Same difference, maybe. Well, no, actually, when you consume the cannabis by edibles, you get that 11-hydroxy metabolite, which is a bit more potent and a bit more psychedelic there than the THC alone, due to the metabolization of it in the liver. Because when you eat cannabis, again, here we go with the science, guys. A little bit of science from the herbal scientist today. If you didn't know, when you eat cannabis, it goes into your stomach, which then gets broken down like in the stomach, and it goes down and it goes through the liver, where the THC then interacts with enzymes in the liver, and the enzymes then produce like even more potent compounds that take the THC, tweak a few bits, and becomes 11-hydroxy metabolite, and that then is a bit more potent. If you were to smoke cannabis, then what happens when you smoke cannabis? It goes like in smoke form to your lungs. What happens in your lungs is basically there's an exchange of gas at the alveoli, really thin capillary parts, and some of the THC gets and the other cannabinoids, terpenes, and whatever gets transferred over into your blood. That blood then goes straight back to your heart and into the rest of your body, to wherever you need it. And again, that's something that Vera talked about there within the podcast there recently, just to the power of cannabis, and how it just really gets on well around all of the body. It seems to respond most in the site that it's needed most as well, if you're a person suffering with chronic pain, which is interesting. But yeah, definitely, once the cannabis smoke enters the lungs, it's quickly transferred to the blood, which goes to the heart, which goes to the rest of the body. Which is why when, say, you take a fat dab, like you feel a sweat almost like immediately, you know, it's almost like upon exhaling, you're like, oh shit. Yeah, and that's how fast it acts. Because think of your heart, like put your hand on your chest right now and it's like, boom, boom, I have a slow heartbeat. Some of you are out there now probably. It's like, Martin, what's going on with your heart? Why? Honestly, the doctors get alarmed when they hear my heart as well. They're like, your heart's right. It's at like 40, Martin. What's going on? I was like, I'm quite fit. I'm doing a lot of running. But yeah, I definitely had a few eyebrows raised on that one. Yeah, really. But yeah, it goes around your body really quick anyway, because of that heart rate, heartbeat. Quite an interesting one. Suppositories. Suppositories are another way in which you can stick it up into the behind. But this avoids that liver, the first pass liver effect. By using a suppository. That's what it's called. The first pass liver effect. That's what happens when cannabis goes to your stomach and gets converted into 11-hydroxy metabolite. That's the first pass liver effect. In order to avoid that, you can smoke cannabis, or you can stick it up your bum. To put it politely, a suppository. Suppositories avoid that first liver pass, and again, it's another way to get it into the bloodstream. And get it around your body as it needed. And interestingly enough about that then, when you use this in a suppository form, people you tend to avoid the kind of the high, if you will, the stone, again, because you're not getting that first liver pass effect, and it's not as fast as smoking it. So the onset of the effects they're a bit more prolonged. So in terms of therapeutically, it's much more effective there, especially for kids like who need say pain management, let's say. Suppositories are definitely the way to go there for kids. Excuse me. Live trip report. So that's just a little dropping of education there, guys, on the different routes of ingestion of cannabis. Again, you have topicals going through the skin, much slower means of action, but more direct form of action. That's where you use things like olive oil and even coconut oil. I think coconut oil is probably one of the better ones, but there's probably other things out there as well. You could even use things like DMSO. Don't advise doing that at all. Consult your doctor and all of this stuff. But DMSO is another compound which helps the movement of a compound across the certain barriers of the body. So again, it was something that we done in we were told about in a science lab. If you were to have like a lemon juice and DMSO, and you put like lemon juice and DMSO on your fingertip, you would taste it in your mouth. That's how strong DMSO is. It would carry limonene just like right across into the body, give you that taste of it in your mouth. I don't know, whether exaggerating. We weren't allowed to test it because we just weren't allowed to test it. But yeah, some really good ways of, some really cool, innovative ways of getting it in. Some of the pharmaceutical companies out there are trying to patent these ways in which of delivering cannabis to the body, such as Sativex. Basically, that's all Sativex is. It's a patent on the delivery mechanism. It's not even like the cannabinoids or anything like that. It's basically the delivery mechanism. It's the spray itself. It's a novel form of delivery for cannabis therapeutics. So that was their thing. That's what they patent. I wonder when's the patent up on Sativex actually. Must look that up for another day's. But yeah. Make it like a challenge. If the video hits 50 likes, what are we on now? You got 40 people. It's a spray itself. It's a not. Who's that guy? 37 likes. That looks like I'm safe. Any other comments out there? Croncy, cannabis laxatives, you go green and then you shit yourself to clear out all those rotten toxins. I don't think that's how going green works. I think it comes out like more the mouth than the behind. I've never gotten so stoned that I shat myself. Like, what you smoking, Karen? That's what I want to know. I think your dealer might have contaminated your stash. Oh, nice. Daily Talker has purchased a sticker from the store Just popping that back up on screen there. I don't think it came up earlier, or no, it's not coming up now either. I don't think I've an alert for those. Apologies there for that. I must get wise as to what that feature is there that you're interacting with Daily Talker. But appreciate it anyway, nonetheless. He says, can't wait to get the stickers. Would love to see more designs so that I can donate more and spread the word at the same time. Wish you all the best, Martin. Thanks very much there to Daily Talker. Appreciate it. And also there as well for Podge. Just sending in 420 there. Much appreciated. Popping that back up on screen fee. He says, have a great evening, everyone. And yes, have a great evening, everyone. Cannabis or High and Homegrown saying smoke weed has bioavailability of 20 to 30%. Yeah, there was a good infographic there actually on the efficiency of different routes of cannabis ingestion. I think that was it. I want efficiency of different routes. I wonder could I get the same infographic up that I seen all those years ago. No. There was actually a study done on this where it was like looking at different routes of ingestion, and it was showing like, you know, the different kind of losses that take place. So they were like using standardized cannabis. They were actually measuring the amount of cannabis in the person's body, and they were kind of rating the efficiency of different routes of ingestion. I'll find that one for you guys, and that might be another educational video that I might get out. I might go do some more herbal sciencey stuff. I've been intending to do it for a while. Maybe we might step back to 420 News to 2 days a week in order to get some other forms of content out there. Because to be honest, like some of these news stories are depressing. What would we do? Like I know Friday is a high day, so yeah, like 420 News Monday, Wednesday, Friday high day, and we do some more educational stuff, more maybe something like that. We'll see. We see what happens there. We'll go to the drawing board and see what we can come up with to improve the show and offer just I don't know, some more a bit more entertainment there, a bit more information to educate and entertain at the same time. Because I feel myself as well, you know, DB Woodcraft. I don't know if has he gotten upset. I haven't seen him in the audience today. The news gets too depressing. There are all these raids and stuff like that. So I definitely think we need a more fun show. Don't you think? So we'll see. We'll see what happens there on that. Oh, I'll get one more supplement, Yishka. Is it better to use solid or tweed in the yogurt? I think solid. I suppose in yogurt, yeah, it's definitely better to use like the hash, because you can burn in the hash, and even on doing that, then you kind of activate it. You like decarboxylate it, so when you actually eat it, it's active and ready to go. If you mix weed into a yogurt, it's not active. You have to decarboxylate it. You have to stick your weed into the oven, and that might seem like counterintuitive, but you have to stick it into the oven at about 115 degrees Celsius for about 25 to 35 minutes, and wrap it up as well in tin foil. So like put it in there in like a baking dish or something like that, and wrap it in tin foil, seal it up inside there. Or that's a good bit of advice. Or if you have access to like a mason jar, stick it in there. And then when you take it out, try and keep it sealed until it's properly cooled down, so that you don't lose any of the volatiles that might be still in there. Hopefully some of them might condense back into the plant, or condense out in the glass and get back onto the plant that way. But then you can literally just crumble it in, and that's going to be nice and active. There's a bit more effort. So yeah, definitely the solid, as you're calling it there, is a lot easier to work with the yogurts. Irish Blue Eyes. I started making oil. It wasn't great, but second time I made firecrackers in air fryer. They carb 30 minutes. They turned out great. So stick firecrackers for me. Nice. Must look up that one. I don't have an air fryer at all though, so I don't think I'll be trying it out anytime soon. And I don't think my mum would be too happy if I tried it out in hers. Yes. Just seen some of the others out there, Podge, saying solid way nicer for the yogurt. That is. Hype says you smoking them tweeds. um, Hash is handy, spread in yogurt, grand. Yeah, exactly as I say. Like hash is just simples, simples. Um, Pod 85 cooking classes at Martin's World. I'm good at that as well, guys. In fairness, like I know my way around the kitchen. We could work up a few treats there. All right. Might put her up as an option on Martin's World. Put her up there as if somebody wants to, like, I've definitely got access to a bit of oil. Just put her up there as like as a donation type of thing. Like, oh, if you make like if you buy this product like in a donation form, we'll send you a cake. We say nothing then about the cake, but you know what you're getting if you're going to do it, because the donation price will be like, it won't be something like that's like somebody's just going to be like, oh, I'm going to buy that cake. It's going to be like, oh yeah, well, not buying that cake unless you are buying that cake, because you know what's in it. So we'll work on that as well, because I certainly want to make this hub a feckin' reality. Rent is crazy in places. I want to get a good space to be able to get people in, to have a nice vape lounge. I before we go, I'll just swing on over there to the NI Canna guy. He got an update there the other day. Is it there? Oh, am I seeing it? Maybe it's on his own personal page. But there is moves being made above there. I can't see it. But I shared it here the other day. He's got the keys to a place, and he's painting the place there now at the moment. So it seems like Alan above there in Northern Ireland, above there in Belfast, will be opening the doors to the to Ireland's very first vape lounge. So fucking boola bus to that bookle. Great to see that project progressing, and it's really kind of getting my attention back to, like, yeah, we really need that down here as well. And hopefully, you know, you have one in Belfast. It's like the guys in Cork are doing it before the Dublin guys. The Dublin guys are then going to be really pissed off, and they're going to be like, right, we have to do it. Even though there probably is some underground stuff going on up in Dublin at the moment, but like this isn't going to be underground. So sorry, the claim to fame is going to be those who come out and be public about it. You gotta think bold. Like, we need a nice vape lounge. Why not? Like, I know there's smoking laws in Ireland, but if you can come in and just vape some lovely fine herbs, some lavender, some cannabis, happy days. Baked baking, yeah, nice. Glad you're enjoying this piece of the show anyway, guys. Billy Bonds, 1 pint of milk, 2 tea bags, 1 tent hash, simmer for 20 minutes, drink when warm. There you go, guys. Nice little recipe there from Billy Bonds. Nice and simple as well. So repeat that one. Pint of milk, guys. 2 tea bags in the pint of milk. A tenth of hash. 1 tenth of hash. So what's 1 tenth? 1 tenth? Oh, okay, one. Yeah, rather than an 8, a tenth. Yeah, that makes sense now, actually. Sorry. Simmer for 20 minutes and drink when warm. Boom, there you go. Simples. Watch 85. Yeah, defo best way to do yogurt is with milk and dissolve the hash. Yeah, there's definitely hash going around the place, alright. I'm not too sure if Kingcraft 420 has stuff over at his place on Snapchat, but he definitely had some weed up there the last time I checked. But there's definitely hash doing the rounds, alright. Scented candles. They're part of Corwin. Drugs. We want more drugs. All the Garda dealing. Get the effing gear in. Nice. Yeah. Billy Bonds, half an 8, a tenth. Well, it's half an 8, not a 16th. Right, guys. I'm going to 7 more likes for live DMT experiment. Mackie said so. Shit. I'm going to love you and leave you guys before I have to take some DMT before I have to go and walk the dogs. That as fun as that might be. Yeah, we gotta get shit done before we go getting all spacey. John Finian, boil grinder in milk. Use milk for coffee, hot chocolate, and you have a shiny, clean grinder. Really? Does it actually clean your grinder? Or does it just make it milky? It wouldn't be too bad for me, I guess. Like I've got a metal grinder, but like I don't know, would I be comfortable with like boiling a plastic grinder in milk? I don't know. But even that, like the outside of my grinder as well is like pretty dirty. Cause like I don't clean my grinder, like it's like why? Like I clean the inside of it, but I never wipe down the outside of it. So I wouldn't be too happy with sticking that into milk either. But I would definitely be sticking some of this into the oven, some of that into my milk, and some of the milk into my hot chocolate. That would certainly be done. But I would advise to do it into something a bit more higher in fat, John. So if you could go for like again, try to extract it, do it like into extract it with alcohol, get it into an oil, then put that into your milk, dissolve that into your milk. Then you don't have to worry about the fat content. If you try to extract from the herb into the milk, if you're going to separate the herb out, that is, now this is only a worry, because the milk itself, and again this is some science for you guys, it has an extraction potential. So milk itself, when it tries to extract from the herb, has an extraction potential based upon the fat content of the milk. So if you were using skimmed milk, well, forget about it. Like you're not going to extract very much. So if you wanted to separate the herb out, well, what's going to happen is, let's say the extraction potential of milk at 3.5% fat is 60%. So what happens if you've cannabis that's 10% THC, let's say, when you do that extraction, you're only going to get 6% of that 10% out of the herb. So when you take away that herb, then afterwards, there's still 4% of it containing THC. Well, if you were to get another container of milk, put that into the fresh milk and extract again, well, you'd now get another 60% of that 4%, which would leave, I believe, is that like 3.2% you get out of it. So you leave about 0.8% in behind. So you see that? So you go from 10% to 4% to 0.8%. Now it's up to you whether you want to go in and try to get another 0.6% out of that, like a 0.6, wouldn't it be? Yeah, it'd be tiny anyway. Like you have to ask yourself, is it worth it, or are you just going to eat it at that point? But there you go, guys. Fat content matters. That's why it's good if you're going to do an extraction with your herb, high fat content. Butter and coconut oil is a really good go-to. Olive oil is a very good one as well. Coconut oil is probably the best. I believe it's probably got the highest of fat contents, and a really good mix of fats as well. Really good MCTs in there as well, which are incredible for health. And I could go on about the MCTs, like, that are inside in there. I won't even go into them, because it's just too sciencey, and I'm going to mess up the names because it's been a while since I looked at them. But I have coconut oil every single day for the last couple of years, pretty much. Like, and yeah, good stuff. How I clean my grinder: I use an old toothbrush, dip it in petrol. I don't believe it. I'm hearing petrol. Metal grinders, it strips the crap out. If you soak the grinder in boiling hot soap water and use the flush with clear boiled water. Right, there, Patrick Corbin, get online, order yourself some rubbing alcohol and keep the petrol for your lawnmower, please. If you get some rubbing alcohol, and if you've got a metal grinder, pour the rubbing alcohol into your metal grinder, give it a bit of a shake around, do whatever you can. Collect that rubbing alcohol, then afterwards evaporate it, and you've got yourself some lovely oil left over that you can consume. You'll consume nothing with petrol. So there, Patrick Corbin, I'm glad you've told me that. I'm kind of like shocked at the same time, but I'm really glad you've told me that, because it's a great opportunity. Again, a little bit of science there. You use an organic solvent like isopropyl alcohol, evaporate it off, and you could be left behind with a consumable product, once you've gotten rid of all that isopropyl. Even if you use something like vodka, Even if you can get your hand on some good poachine, and then you could drink what you have if you're brave enough. But yeah, get yourself some strong alcohol there. Either isopropyl, which it's essential that you get rid of all the isopropyl before you consume the product, or get yourself a proper alcohol like a high proof poachine from maybe a local farmer up in the mountains that you might know, and that might sort it out. And it doesn't matter if you're a biker. Are you saying that you're going to be smoking that petrol afterwards? Do bikers smoke petrol? Man. But it explains, I suppose. You kind of have it at your disposal. Maybe it's like your go-to. Oh yeah, there's a stain on that. Let's get petrol and rub it off. Well, there we go, man. No more waste. Because I know it works. It definitely works. But what you're missing out on is an opportunity to get some fine-ass oil. Even if it's like go and get some consumable alcohol as a biker, I'm sure you might enjoy an old beverage or two yourself. And not trying to stereotype, just thinking of a bike or bar. But yeah, get yourself some like high strength alcohol there. Wash your grinder in that the next time, and keep it for a night that you're able to kind of whip it back then, and you'll enjoy it. Like, and your grinder will be just as clean as well, and not as risky as a fire at the fire. Yeah, I use petrol to clean tar oil and gunk off the bike. So I use petrol to clean my grinder. It doesn't actually hold the smell of petrol. Yeah, no, I wouldn't think it would hold the smell of petrol either. Yeah, that definitely go away after a little bit. But yeah, that's what I was thinking. I can remember working in the car industry before, like, and if there was a can of petrol around the place there, like, you use it to clean off some of the tar and stuff like that as well. Yeah, we used to do a bit of that. Used to do a bit of panel beating back in my younger days. Right, guys, last few comments there, and we're definitely going to have to Lovey and Levy. And so close to 4 to, all right, we'll wait the less than 3 minutes, and then we're definitely gone at 4:20 there over in the, I believe it's the, I'm just going to look there now. Cape Verde, that's the one. Couldn't remember the name of the gaff. Over there off the coast of Africa. Cape Verde. So 4:20 in Cape Verde in a couple of minutes, and we'll say goodbye then after that. What's the crack, Greenbeard? What's happening? Just made it. Yes. Last few minutes. We'll pack up one more ball, because it's almost 4:20. I hope, Greenbeard, that you're just coming in the door from work, man, kicking off the boots, putting on the kettle now, and packing yourself, or maybe rolling yourself an old fatty. So I don't know which one you could be going for. Would you be rolling one, or are you packing one? There, Patrick Corwin. Nope, I don't drink. Last time I did, I set a pub on fire. You actually said pup, but yeah, you corrected it down below to pup. Pub. Yeah, that's the problem with drink, really. You do some silly things, and definitely, like, setting a pub on fire is pretty silly and dangerous. Oh, he was home, but now he's back out again. No, that's yeah, no rest for the wicked, Greenbeard, man. You keep doing you, man. Ah, nice. Ready mades out with him. Happy days. Good to hear you're prepared. So, T minus 2 minutes and counting. Yeah. Oh wait, 1 minute and counting now. Actually, 55 seconds. Again, about a 5 second delay there between us. So by the time you hear this now, it will actually be 40 seconds. Time traveling. Wow. So if I actually wanted to smoke with you at 4:20, when it's 4:20 with you, I have to do it 5 seconds before it's 4:20 with me. So I wonder, could we do that? There we go. So yeah, I'm just gonna talk when it goes to 0 on my clock, because you'll see it when it's 0. So there we go. Yay! 420. Woo. Man, time flies when you're having fun, guys. Thanks very much for keeping me. So much great company out there. So thanks for keeping me company there for the last 2 hours, guys. It's been an absolute pleasure to be able to bring 420 news to you today. We'll be back with more on Wednesday, guys. Oh shit, 53 likes, we're in trouble. I think Mackie's gone, guys. I might get away with it. Come on. I stayed till 420. I ain't got time now to do on DMT. Dogs need walking. I think what Mackie was saying is Mackie's going to go live and do some DMT that I will send to him if he gets more than 50 likes. I think that's what he wanted, yeah? You all read that as well. Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, so Mackie, that'll be in the post there for you, Mackie. For educational purposes, because Mackie's really interested in the pursuit of education for his fellow listeners. So guys, you seen it right there, 420 News. We hit over 50 likes, so Mackie's going to be doing some DMT live and homegrown, in the not too distant future. Stefan Walsh, what's going on, Stefan? Hey Martin, I really support what you're doing. It's ridiculous cannabis hasn't been legalised in Ireland yet. Keep on fighting the good fight, man. Thanks very much for that, Stefan, and nice one for dropping in and leaving such a nice comment too. Really appreciate it. Nice, yeah. Daniel Crowley, see you later. Nice. And yeah, guys, I see all the slans coming in, and I see all the good boys as well. I really am going to have to run. I have to get me old Thai boxing shorts there now, strap up the dogs, get them walked, and go teach a Thai boxing class. So a great old evening ahead of me. But until next Wednesday, guys, stay blazed, keep her lit, and be safe, guys. Don't end up on the 420 News unless it's on the good news section. Please, and do give me some good news to report here in Ireland for a change. Please. Peace, guys. Love you all. Bye.